Well, who better to understand the entire nature of India-UAE relations than the ambassador of India to the UAE, His Excellency Sunjay Sudhir, who's, of course, there in Abu Dhabi. Mr. Ambassador, it's so good to be talking to you, and it's good to be talking to you with this nice Dubai skyline behind me. I see the Burj Khalifa out there. This place increasingly become very important for India. It used to be a place where Indians would go and do construction jobs and, and be workers. Now it seems to be a strategic relationship at a much deeper level.
No doubt about that, Vikram. Ever since we signed this comprehensive strategic partnership agreement way back in 2017, things have, of course, taken a very different trajectory. After that, we have signed a CEPA agreement. We have become partners in the U2I2 initiative. More recently, with France, we have started this trilateral with UAE, France, and India. There have been 4 visits by Prime Minister in the last 8 years. People-to-people relationship is very strong. Trade and investment linkages are strong. I mean, our relationship has never been on a stronger footing ever in the past. Now with an increasingly strategic dimension to it.
So, just looking at that relationship, I think a lot of people don't know that the relations, of course, between India and this part of the world go back centuries. I mean, these were almost considered outposts of India, if you like, Oman or the Gulf countries. They've always been that very strong historic relationship. Is that part of what's driving the recent relationship, that history? Or is it just that there's a meeting of geostrategic interests at this stage?
I would say, Vikram, it's both these factors. Our people-to-people contact, of course, has been centuries old. But the new dynamism which has come about in the last 7, 8 years or so is something very unprecedented. So we have, as you have seen, we have signed the first CEPA ever from the UAE perspective. And our first CEPA, say in the last decade or so, last year in February, when Prime Minister Modi and Sheikh Mohammed bin Zayed, the president of the UAE, witnessed the signing of CEPA. And since then, in the last, actually in the first 8 months of implementation of CEPA, we have seen our bilateral trade grow by about 30%. And that's a very impressive figure. In addition to that, of course, the I2U2, which I was talking about, a primarily economic grouping, that started sometime in October 2021. And we've already had a summit level engagement on this. We have had a joint statement. Projects have been identified. One on development of food parks in India, another one on hybrid energy, again in India. Very recently, last month, UAE hosted a high-level business conclave in Abu Dhabi. So once the businesses come together, discuss ideas, then I think these initiatives just take off like anything.
A lot of Indians now, of course, come and they live out here and they're setting up companies in those towers that you see somewhere in the distance behind me. It is sometimes said, only half jokingly, that Dubai is the nicest city in India. I think people are joking when they say that, but there are a lot of Indians out here and a lot of business being done out here. Is the UAE and cities like Dubai almost visualizing themselves as being the Hong Kong to India's China?
Well, UAE is already home to about 3.5 happy Indians, I would say. In terms of Indian nationals, this is the largest population anywhere in the world. And I would say that they come from all different strata of the professional, I would say, a professional lineup. And they're all doing very well in their own ways. They're contributing both to the economy of the UAE and to the Indian economy. And I think they are actually cementing our strong bonds in a very, very special way. UAE has always been known for the vision of their leadership, that vision of tolerance, I would say. So we have temples here, we have gurdwaras here, churches and mosques. People have the liberty to follow their own religions, to lead their own lives. Good schooling is here. What all is required for a happy living, those ingredients are very much here. And that's why you mentioned that a lot of Indians regard this as a part of India. And some jokingly, some are not so jokingly, some are very serious about it because they live here, both here as well as in India. They share their time. Just yesterday, I participated in a big holy event in Abu Dhabi. It was a collection of about 5,000 Indians. After COVID, of course, this was the first time it was an in-person holy event, and there's no way to celebrate events like Holi, Diwali, then the way you see it in Abu Dhabi and in Dubai. What we are also trying to do is that strengthen a lot of institutional mechanisms. For instance, we are working these days on introducing UPI to the UAE. So once that is done, that would further increase the ease of living of Indians here. So such things are also happening.
One of the major recent changes that have happened from the UAE side, not specifically targeted to India, but it may be having an impact. They made the golden visa, a much simpler process out here. You can come and get a 10-year residency out here if you invest a certain money, or if you're a talented person, or if you're setting up a business. 10 years residency. And I know a lot of people, especially in the startup and other sectors, were saying that's something we should take advantage of. Do you view that with concern, or is that a good news? How do you interpret that?
I think certainly it's a very good news. But I must say that the golden visa is just one of the initiatives as a part of that slew of measures which the government has been taking in recent years. It just gives you that added degree of certainty about visa processes. You don't have to renew your visas periodically. So 10 years gives you enough certainty about that. The government has also started here this new initiative about doing away with this necessity of having a UAE partner to start business. That has also brought in a lot of investments into this country. So with long-term visas, with the initiatives to liberalize investments, a lot of Indians are actually finding business opportunities in this country. Startups, as you said, yes, this is a great country which has taken great measures to encourage startups. And I mean, I almost every week see a new startup here, either trying to pitch for investments or trying to find partners here. Just last week, we had Stride Ventures from India at Abu Dhabi Global Markets with about 18 strong startups from India. I think overall, it's very good news because it's working on the synergies, it's harping on the complementarities between our two economies.
Well, I have to say, of course, that connection is there. I remember you and the Secretary MIP launched Heritage Global right here in Dubai. Was it about a year ago or so? So yes, that connection is there. Any concerns that you have, especially with so many Indians coming out here and as relations develop? I guess the Pakistani factor a lot less now, especially with the implosion of Pakistan. What would be areas of concern for you that you think we should focus on?
Well, I think this relationship is far too historic, far too deep, far too broad for us to have any specific concerns as such. And the relationship, the way it has grown in the last 8 years, has actually been able to deal with so much in the sense of tapping opportunities. When I say I2U2 as an economic grouping, it's, the advantages of that, the benefits of that actually accrue to the region. If you see the other 3 members of I2U2 are also involved in the Abraham Accords. So we have just joined into that. So whatever we do not only gives rise to the prosperity of India, prosperity of the UAE, and I think also prosperity of the region. So these things are all interconnected. So we are in good shape, I think. We are in good hands and good shape.
Ambassador Sunjay Sudhir, thank you so much for joining us with that perspective. Thank you.
Thank you very much.